some economists, the essence of globalization is a process of delocalization, the scattering of manufacturing processes across the globe. Globalization is certainly characterized by the enormous expansion of multinational corporations and their investments in foreign lands. But the term globalization can be emotionally charged. For some, it means ruthless exploitation by corporations. Yet for others, globalization means bringing economic development to the peoples of the world. For Mark, a labourer on the Sunripe organic farm in Kenya, globalization means he has some money trickling in.
What I can say is that finding work in Kenya is not easy, so we appreciate what we have.
The economic processes of globalization can be split into two broad categories: free trade and financial globalization. Free trade means a nation opens up its markets to imports, increases its exports, and reduces or eliminates tariffs. Free trade has the potential for creating real economic growth by drawing resources into industries where the country has a comparative advantage. There are many nations where such gains have been seen over recent decades, such as China, India, Brazil, Chile, and South Korea. Financial globalization, on the other hand, is the global trade in currencies and investments in foreign stock markets and in foreign currency projects. Before the East Asian financial crisis of 1997 to 98, freeing up capital markets was seen as necessary for poor nations to attract foreign direct investment, FDI. FDI usually involves investments in real assets, such as factories. In contrast, financial trading does nothing to increase the productivity of the nation affected. In particular, foreign portfolio investment, FPI, short-term speculation based on the value of a nation's currency, cannot be used to build an industry or create jobs. When investors pull a large amount of such capital out of an economy in trouble, it can wreck that economy and allow a financial crisis in one country to ricochet to another. The 1980s saw the rise of the most radical free market economic policies ever implemented. These so-called neoliberal policies, in economic parlance liberal means free from government interference, stressed free trade and the unhindered flow of capital with minimal government spending, taxation and regulation. Neoliberal principles are still at the heart of global lending institutions, especially the International Monetary Fund, IMF. The IMF was set up to give financial aid to countries in serious economic difficulty, using funds from its 185 member countries.
An economic collapse can have terrible effects, and you can't prove that the IMF has been a buffer against economic collapse, but I think it has.
But some economists blame the policies of institutions like the IMF for exacerbating crises. One of the main problems of the IMF approach is that fundamental economic changes are introduced all at once, before supportive legal and social frameworks are in place. We'll examine what the lack of these frameworks meant for East Asia, Bolivia, and Russia. We'll also look at how China developed its own safeguards against some of the social dislocations arising from the rapid implementation of free market policies.